Hi, everybody, and good morning. Welcome to our PACE Intro Psych week number 2 live stream. It is January 18th on a Tuesday. Good morning. Thank you all for being here with me. There's a bunch of you in here, which is fantastic. Thank you so much. I know it's early in the morning on a Tuesday. After a long weekend, it's even harder to wake up. So thank you so much for being on here with me. I see a lot of you putting your names in the chat. If you could make sure you get your name in there, and then somebody let me know, can you hear me and see me okay? Everything looks fine on my end, but let me know if you can hear and see me just fine. That would be fantastic. And then we'll get going. I think we got some new people joining us, which is great as well. Thank you for, again, for being on here with me early, but can you all hear me and see me? Okay, perfect. Thank you. You can hear and see me fine. Excellent. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm always afraid that I'll just be talking away and then you won't be able to hear me. So that's great. Okay, perfect. So it looks like you can all hear me and see me okay, which is fantastic. So we are in week number 2. And remember that the way that our course is organized is that we have access to 2 weeks of materials at a time. So what I want to do is I will give you some reminders about what is due for this week. And a quick reminder of the things that were due last week as well that are still eligible to be done this week. I will give you the Twitch extra credit question. I want to talk a little bit about exam number 1, which is to be completed this week as well. So we'll go through that to make sure that you feel good about it and know what to expect and some tips and so on. And then I will end with some time for questions. If you have any questions for me about anything related to the course, I'm happy to answer it. But I hope you all had a nice, restful weekend. We had that extra day, which was so nice. It rained a little bit, which was fantastic. I love the rain and cold weather, and I know I'm in the wrong part of the state, but I will take it when it happens. And even more exciting, both of my football teams advanced to the next round, so I'm happy for that. I'm a big Bucks fan because of Brady, and I'm a huge Patrick Mahomes fan as well. And both of my teams advanced. So there's going to be some really good football games this weekend. I'm not sure that either team will make it past this weekend. I think the Rams are going to give Brady and the Bucks a very, very good run for their money this weekend. And the Bills against the Chiefs, that's going to be a great game. So I'm very excited for more football to come. But anyway, I will focus back in. I could talk about football forever, but I will focus back in. Let's go over to Canvas together and take a look at some of the things that we have going on for this week. So here's our course webpage. And again, for me, I really like the view that you get on the syllabus as far as just a quick reminder for what we have going on. So I'm going to go to the syllabus really quickly, and if this is helpful for you, that's fantastic. I will always send you emails and announcements to remind you, but I think this is a nice, quick little snapshot for the things that we have going on this week. So if we scroll all the way down, we, as I said, are in week number 2 as of Monday morning. So you have access to weeks 1 and 2 all the way into the end of this week, Sunday 1/23 at 11:59 p.m. So make sure that all of the materials from week 1 and week 2 are submitted by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. in order to receive that credit. So from last week, you still have chapter 1 and 2 and discussions 1 and 2. And that introductions discussion is still there for you as well. So those are the materials from last week. And if you haven't done them yet, that's totally fine. You had last week and this week to complete all of that. But as of this week, what I will focus on today is we'll look at chapters 3 and 4, discussions 3 and 4, and exam number 1. So just again, a quick snapshot. Everything from weeks 1 and 2 is due by this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So just make sure that you're on top of that and get all of those things done. Some of you have done just discussions 1 and 2. A couple of you have already completed everything for both weeks. Totally up to you. You have that flexibility, which I think is really, really nice to have. So let's go ahead and take a look at the things that we have going on for this week. If I scroll down just a little bit here. So everything from week 1 is still there. The recording for week number 1's Twitch is posted on here as well. So just a reminder, I posted it right here. I do have 7 classes that I'm teaching, and I do a Twitch session for each one of them. So in an effort to help keep that where you don't end up watching the wrong one on accident, I will always post the recording for you right here under that corresponding week. But this week, for week number 2, we have chapters 3 and 4, discussions 3 and 4, exam number 1, and then the optional Twitch extra credit for joining me today on here as well. So let's go through all those materials and make sure that you're feeling as good about them as you can. So order of business number 1, you'll probably want to read chapters 3 and 4 in the ebook. And remember, the ebook is linked on the homepage. But let me go and log into that really quickly as well so that you can we can look at that together. Definitely make sure you bookmark this if you haven't already. And I'm going to go to our class. All my sections are on here, so hopefully you selected the right one. 31109 is our course. But when you're on here, remember that this is where you can find the ebook chapters. So if you click on chapters up here at the top, this week we are covering chapter 3 on biological psychology and chapter 4 on sensation and perception. So make sure that you read through those chapters fully here in the ebook. Click on any links, explore all of the things that I have in there for you. So chapters 3 and 4 in the ebook. And then you'll want to read through the lectures and watch the lecture videos for those as well. So remember, 3 components for every chapter. Read the book, read through the lecture, and then watch the lecture video. So the chapter 3 lecture, for example, remember these all have 5 tabs at the top. So make sure that you are reading or clicking through all of these. You can also listen to me reading it to you. The Beyond the Book page, there's a couple of little tutorials in here that I think are really, really helpful in understanding neurons and how they communicate with each other. Chapter 3 tends to be a tough one sometimes for people because we're talking about things that are so small and are difficult to put your hands on in a way. So make sure that you watch all of these little videos. I have a video about the 10% myth, which will be really helpful for the discussion this week. In pop culture, there's a couple of things in here as well. There's a little clip from The Walking Dead related to neurons. There's a clip from Animaniacs related to parts of the brain, a little bit about the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, which is a kind of a cool pop culture reference for us. Key terms in review. Here are all the terms that you need to know for the exam this week. And then on the last page, the application. Here's how you can apply this to your life in some way. So make sure that you click on any of those links, explore the videos, watch the videos, check out the images, and then you'll want to watch the lecture video as well. And remember that these lecture videos are me lecturing to the PowerPoint slides, so you might want to take notes. The materials on these will definitely appear on the exam, which we have our first one this week. So make sure that you watch these. This one's posted on YouTube, though some of them are Zoom links, depending on whether or not they have outside materials in them. You'll want to do the same for chapter 4. So click on all of the different tabs for the chapter 4 lecture on sensation and perception. There's the summary, the Beyond the Book page. I have a cool little video about subliminal perception, a virtual tour of the eye. This will be really helpful. These color after images will definitely be something that's helpful to explore. There's some fun little stereogram images that are over here on the right. There's some in pop culture links. I have a video by Blue Man Group about rods and cones. There's a cool ESP link to a Ghostbusters video. Key terms in review. Here are all the terms from chapter 4 that you need for the exam. And then once you have read through chapter 4, here's how you can apply that to your life in some way. So same thing for chapter 4. Click on all those links, explore and watch all the videos. And then make sure that you also watch the lecture video for chapter 4. This one is a Zoom link, so you'll click on that and watch that and make sure you take notes and all of that fun stuff for chapter 4. So those are big things to do in terms of covering the content. Read the ebook chapter, read through the lecture and watch any videos in there, and then watch the lecture videos as well. Once you have done all that, you'll want to do discussions 3 and 4. So let's click on those and look at those for a moment here. Discussion number 3 is all about chapter 3 on biological psychology. Here are the instructions. Make sure you watch my little video here where I go through and give you some details and some information. You'll answer all of my questions that are down here related to biological psychology. You're looking at neurons and why they are important, how neurons communicate with each other, and then you're looking at these articles as well on the 10% myth of the brain and a couple of questions related to that. So when you're ready, you will hit reply and you can answer all of my questions. Again, make sure you're answering these fully, showing off all of your knowledge and comprehension of the materials. That is your kind of first task. And then you're also reading through a minimum of 5 of your classmates' posts and responding to one of them. So let's say that I really would like what Paula has said. I can reply to what she has said here. But make sure that you're spending a lot of time on these. These are the bulk of your grade in this class. So think of them like little mini papers where you're showing off and really giving me a lot of that detail and information related to these prompts. You'll also want to do the same thing for discussion number 4. Discussion number 4 is related to chapter 4. So same thing for this one. Watch my little video that I made here for you, giving you a little bit more information and some details related to the prompt. Read through 5 of your classmates' posts, reply to one of them. You're reading here about smell memories. Really interesting topic related to how smell and memory are connected. You're going to be doing a little experiment where you gather some items that you'll be smelling, closing your eyes and smelling them, looking for any kind of associations that you might have, and then talking about how smell and memories are connected and how you could use that in your personal life in some way. So make sure you read through the little short articles here that will help you. And when you're ready to answer these, you'll hit reply, and that will allow you to bring up a text box where you can type your responses to my questions. And again, I would always recommend saving these. So don't forget to respond not only to me, but also to one of your classmates for each discussion to get those full points of credit. So those discussions, you have 4 of them due in these first 2 weeks, 2 each week. So if you haven't done the ones from last week, remember that they're still there for you. I haven't graded them yet because the deadline hasn't passed. So once we hit this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. on Monday, I will grade all 4 discussions. You'll see those grades populate for you next Monday, and then there'll be some feedback for those as well. So you won't see anything graded for those until the deadline has passed. So make sure that you keep going on those as they're due this Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So we have one more really big thing that I want to talk about, but are there any questions at all related to the lectures and the discussions that we have? Any questions about anything I've covered? I'm going to put that in the chat. Any questions at all so far before we talk about the exam? I'm going to wait just a minute because you're about 30 seconds behind me. But I obviously want to take some time to talk about exam number 1 and make sure you're feeling good about that. But any questions about the materials for weeks 1 and 2 before I get there? Wait just a moment and then we'll dive into exam number 1. And if you think of something later, feel free to put it in the chat. Again, that's your best way to communicate with me throughout all of this. But I don't see anything so far, so let's talk about exam number 1. You have 4 exams in this class. You'll take one every 2 weeks, and our first one is this week. So you'll see the link to exam number 1 is right here. The exam is on the ebook site. So if you click on that, it'll say, don't forget that you need a copy of the ebook in order to take the test. Here's the link to go to the ebook site if you haven't purchased it, or if you need to get to the ebook site because you've forgotten. Before I go over to the ebook site and show you that, I want to show you that exam number 1 study guide is right here. So if you click on this, it will bring up the study guide for the first test. And I've given you a study guide for every single exam. And these are going to be really, really helpful for you in your preparations. Basically, once I finish the exam, I go through here and I'm going to write every term or concept that you need to know for the test on here. Okay, so here's all the terms that you need to know from chapter 1. Here's all the terms from chapter 2, chapter 3, and chapter 4. So everything that is on the study guide will be on the exam. So if it's on here, make sure that you know it, that you're comfortable and familiar with it. If it's not on here, you don't need to worry about it. It won't be on the exam, so you can let it go. But if it is on here, make sure that you can answer a multiple choice or a matching or true-false question about it. The vast majority of the stuff on here is stuff from the lecture. If it's not from the lecture, it's from the textbook or the online Canvas lectures that I've given you. There's also, you'll notice for this exam, there's also 2 diagrams that are on the study guide. And this is the only exam that has diagrams on it. But make sure that you are able to match the different parts of the neuron here to multiple choice options and the 4 different lobes of the brain to options as well. So these diagrams will be on the exam. Make sure that you're comfortable and familiar with them. But everything on here you should be studying and reviewing. If it were me, I would study and review like this was a normal in-person test. I would make flashcards or I would write or type out these terms. That way you're not scrambling to find these things when you're taking the test. So when you do take the exam, you can use your notes, you can use your book, you can use the study guide. But I promise you that if you're trying to look everything up and understand it and find it, you are going to run out of time. So no, that's a great question, Shira, Princess of Power. I love your name. As it says right here, the online classes are open notes and open book, but you don't get extra credit for doing the study guide. If we were doing this in class, you would get extra credit for that, but you wouldn't be able to use the study guide on the exam. So what I would do if it were me, and I'm like a very kind of meticulous student, is I would go through and I would write all these up or type them up, and then you can have it right next to you during the test. That way, if you need to look something up or reference it, it is right there. You don't get extra credit for doing it, but it will definitely make your exam experience a million times easier because you have every bit of information right there at your disposal. So I know that's a little bit of a trade-off, but you should be doing fantastically on these exams because you can use your notes and study guide and everything in front of you. So there will never be any trick questions on these exams. They're very, very straightforward. If you understand all the terms on here, you'll be in fantastic shape. I think the exams are actually quite easy if you have studied and prepared. So just a little tip, again, if it were me, I would type everything up and have it all ready to go in front of me, but that's totally up to you. I always over prepare for the first exam, and then you could always dial it back for the next one if you find that you prepared too much. But you never want to be in a situation where you didn't prepare enough and you have that moment of panic. So over prepare, over study, and if you do too much, you can always dial it back, but you would rather not be in the other side, on the other side of that coin. So study and prepare with the study guide. And when you are ready, you're going to head over to the ebook site to take the test. And let me show you that. Let's go there together. So on the ebook site up here at the top, you're going to click on exams. And this is the same place that you took that mandatory orientation quiz right here at the top, except you're going to scroll down a little farther to where it says exam instructions for exams 1 through 4. So just like with the mandatory orientation quiz, you get 1 attempt at the exam. So please make sure that you're organized, you're ready, you're prepared, and that you have a good internet connection before you begin. Hopefully you have a quiet place to take the test. As well, you want to make sure you set yourself up for success as much as possible. You have 75 minutes to complete the exam. That's roughly 1 minute per question. It's plenty of time as long as you are prepared and organized. If you're trying to look everything up, again, I promise you, you will run out of time. So make sure that you're organized and studied and have prepared. Once you click begin the exam, you're in it and you cannot exit out of it. So just make sure that you, again, are ready to go. You're also going to want to make sure that you save your answers to every single question, right? You want to make sure they turn that gold color, like I showed you with the mandatory orientation quiz. And when you're done, you'll hit I am finished and you'll get a score instantly. It will tell you everything that you got correct and everything that you got wrong. Remember that your scores on this don't automatically come over to Canvas. So if you don't see a score in Canvas, don't worry. You do have a gradebook on here that will house your scores temporarily. So as long as you have a score that you get from this, you are in good shape. So if I show you again really quickly on the mandatory orientation quiz, remember that there's always going to be a clock at the top. And it's going to be counting down. So you want to be mindful of your time. If you don't know the answer to a question, skip it. You can always come back to it later. There's going to be a list of all of the questions. So like this one, for example, you'll select false, and then you want to save your answer. And when it's saved, it turns that gold, like orange color. And you'll want to do that for all of your questions. And you want to make sure they're all saved. You can skip through them. As I said, the gray ones mean that they're skipped. The black mean that they're unanswered. So just make sure that you are answering all of them. Your instructor hates football, so not true. Right, and when you're done, again, you'll hit I am finished and submit for a grade. It'll say, are you sure? Have you saved everything? Double check really quickly. And then you'll submit it and it will give you a score right off the bat. So remember that these scores do not transfer to Canvas. I will bring them all over next week once our deadline has passed. But it will show you what you got right or wrong, and you can take a look at that as you go through it. But make sure that you've saved everything, that you're being mindful of your time. Again, I will never, ever trick you. So if something sounds confusing, read it again. That's not intentional. These should be very, very straightforward and kind of easy exams, as long as you've been reading, following along, and you've studied. And again, if it were me, I would over prepare for exam number 1. And hopefully that means you do phenomenally. You get 100% or close to. It would make me so happy if all of you got A's on these. So just make sure that you're ready, organized. Don't wait till the last minute. Please, if I could give you one big piece of advice, do not wait till Sunday night to take the test. You have 2 weeks to take this. You don't want to wait till Sunday night. If you wait till Sunday, inevitably, your power will go out, your internet will crash, the ebook site will have a problem, something will happen. So try and take it early in the week as soon as you're ready. Take it Friday, Saturday, Sunday morning. And if you run into an issue, of course, reach out to me. But if you leave yourself plenty of time, that definitely sets you up for success. So that is the exam. You're taking it, again, directly on here. As soon as you're ready, you will just hit begin your attempt. And it is due before Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. Okay, so are there any questions at all about the exam or the ebook site? I do have one more thing and some reminders to give you really quickly, but any questions at all about the test before I move forward? I'm still fighting off my little bit of a cold, but I think I sound much better last week. Much better this week than last week. So hopefully you would agree. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, those are the big things to focus on for this week. Make sure that if you haven't already, you finish up week number 1, but week number 2, you have all these materials that we talked about today. You also have an extra credit option, which I'm going to give you here in a moment. But a couple of reminders really quickly before I give that to you. Don't forget, if you haven't done this already, please take a moment to make sure that you subscribe to me on Twitch if you can. Don't ever pay for this, but I did talk about how you can link your Twitch and Amazon accounts together. There's a couple of you that did step 1, but not step 2. So for example, if I scroll up here, Jacqueline, see how you have the little Twitch crown, but you don't have the football cake. If you just have the little Twitch crown, that means you didn't do the second part of it. And a few of you asked me questions about this, so I'm going to show you really quickly how to do that. But if you haven't gone through and subscribed, I have the instructions for you that are up here. I went through and showed you step by step how to do that. And then I gave you a video at the very bottom as well that I think is really helpful. Please don't ever pay for this, but I think it makes my life so much easier, and I really appreciate you helping me save a little bit of time. If you're subscribed, I just download your names rather than having to highlight your names and find you. And it also means that you only just get that one ad at the beginning. So thank you for those of you who did that. If you haven't done it yet, no worries, you can still do that, and I appreciate you taking that time. But I want to show you, a couple of you asked me, how do I use that subscription? So I'm going to go to Twitch, and I can't show you on my channel, so I'm going to show you on my friend's channel. My buddies are big Twitch streamers. Sticker G, they actually play video games. I just use it for classes. But I'm going to show you on their channel. These are them. Oh, those are them too. So if you were on my channel, this is the last step. See how there's this purple bar right here? You click on the down arrow, and if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, here's where you can use that free Prime sub. See how it shows you the little crown? If you click on that, then it says subscribe for free with Prime for 1 month, right? And it's only good for 30 days, but you can renew it every 30 days for free. A few of you were confused on this step, so I just wanted to show you that one more time. If you are on my channel, I'm showing you on a friend's channel because I can't show you on my own. You click on this purple scroll down bar, scroll all the way down, and then you click on that use free Prime sub, and then click on subscribe with Prime for free. And a couple of you were a little confused by this, so I wanted to show you that just in case that was helpful. So don't forget to get going on all these materials. Our next Twitch live stream is on Tuesday, 1/25. So next Tuesday, the 25th, at 9:30 in the morning, like always. Okay, so that's when our next Twitch live stream will be, next Tuesday morning, and I hope you join me on here. It's nice to have so many of you with me. Let me give you the Twitch extra credit question. That's the last thing for today, and then you can get going. This will help you as well with the discussion for this week. They're kind of piggybacking off of each other, but it's something that people always get confused, so I want to just help you to review that. So the extra credit question for today is, what is meant by electrochemical communication? Describe what is the electrical piece and what is the chemical piece. How do neurons communicate with each other? So what is meant by electrochemical communication? What is the electrical? What is the chemical portion? And how do neurons communicate? And you can use this exact same part for the discussion this week, so you're welcome to copy and paste that. Hopefully that helps you. I'm going to put this here in the chat. And then when you're ready to answer that, you'll head back to Canvas. And since we are in week number 2, you'll click on Twitch extra credit number 2 right here. And then up at the top, click on Start Assignment. And here's where you can type your response in the box and go ahead and hit Submit. You get a little confetti burst. This is due before Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. So make sure that you get going on this. If you get it wrong for any reason and you submit it early, I will let you know, and you'll have plenty of time to resubmit it. So definitely an advantage if you submit this early in the week. I will let you know if it's incorrect. But save your responses to this just in case. Save your responses to the discussions. Get going on the materials for week number 2. Wrap up the things from week 1 if you haven't done that already. And when we're done here today, I will start uploading and then downloading the recording. If you missed this or if you want to watch it later in the week, it will be posted right here for you. So we're at right about 30 minutes. That's my goal for these live streams. And then what I will do is I will hang out for the next like 10 minutes or so. If you have any questions about the study guide, something you couldn't find or you don't understand, any questions about the materials for last week or this week, I will hang out. You're welcome to put them in the chat and I will answer them for you. If you're struggling with the subscription, this is a good time to go back and try and figure that out. I really appreciate, again, those of you who've done that. If you haven't put your first and last name in the chat, this is also a great time to do that so that I have your name for attendance today. And I think that is everything that I wanted to share with you. It's definitely a lot, but if you missed anything, you can always go back and watch this again later. The recording of it will be posted within a couple of hours. Uh, I think that's everything. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll hang out for a little while. I hope you all have a fantastic week. Take care of yourselves. Get going on all of the stuff that we have due. Good luck on the first exam. If you run into issues or have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Otherwise, have a fantastic week. Stay healthy, and I will hope to see you all on our live stream next Tuesday. So we're done with our time officially, unless you have any questions, in which case hang out and put them in the chat. But I'm going to minimize my video just so I'm not staring at myself, but I will stay here and hang out for a little while. You're welcome. Thank you so much for being on here with me as well. Thank you, Shira, Princess of Power. I love your name on there. That's fantastic. But thank you all. Again, I'm going to minimize my video, but if you do think of any questions, I'm still here, and feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me live. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. And again, if you think of any questions, I will still be here for a little while, and you're welcome to ask. Thank you as well. Have a great week. You're struggling a little bit. So we had a question. You're struggling with discussion number 2. Yeah, so you can choose any topic you want, and it doesn't even necessarily have to be related to psychology. So if you were to conduct research, what would you want to know? And it could be that you wanted to ask people a question like a survey. It could be an experiment that you wanted to set up. So just think of something that you would be curious about. It doesn't have to be related to psychology. Let's say you want to know how many people have caught COVID, and you come up with a survey and you wanted to ask everybody a couple of questions related to COVID and some demographics. Or let's say that you wanted to know how many people watch football, right? Both of those would be like survey questions. Or you could set up something like an experiment. Maybe you want to know, if somebody were to drink coffee before they go to bed, it doesn't make it harder for them to fall asleep than somebody who doesn't drink coffee. So you could think of literally anything that interests you, whether it's related to psychology or not. And then you're going to describe your experiment or study that you would want to do and talk about how you would do it and some advantages and disadvantages and so on. So just think of something that would interest you. Again, it doesn't have to be related to our class. So it can literally be anything, and then how you would go about studying it or conducting it and so on. I hope that helps a little bit. Yeah, sure, no problem. You're welcome. You too, Ellen. Thank you. Thank you. I hope you have a great day and a great week. And yeah, I'm getting there. It's slow, but I'm definitely feeling a little better. So thank you so much. All right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and close this up so I can get it downloaded and posted. Have a wonderful week and feel free to email me if you think of any questions later on.